left-hand corner of ESV Ohana, as this music continues to play in the background.
No, it was faded out perfectly, actually.
There it is.
That was so impressive. that was really good. I'm like looking over at Josh. I'm like, wow, that was good. Let's do that every time. That was awesome.
That was pretty cool. Well, here in the top
Please
left-hand
continue.
corner of the map, we have our blue Protoss player from TyLoo, down 0-1 in this best-of-5 semifinal here at the IPL5 Chinese Regional. It is Jim. And his opponent in the lower right-hand corner, sporting the tag forever from Dream, it is F91, our red Zerg player.
Yep. Sporting the tag forever, but maybe not forever.
Yeah.
Depends on if he gets another account sometime and has to name himself something different, or the whim takes him and he decides to just do it randomly, change his name.
I'm not sure, honestly, what his real tag stands for, F91.
I don't know
maybe
either,
forever
actually.
is part of the name. Maybe
he
he's
was born
a futuristic jet fighter.
Maybe he was born in 1991.
Possibly.
I didn't look when I was looking up some stats and things like that, but that is, possible. Forever 1991.
That's right.
That
frightens me to think that people born in the 90s are in their 20s now. But
isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
I remember hearing about the one. There was a 12-year-old Masters player who was born in the year 2000.
That's awesome.
So
dude. That's really cool. I'm glad that we have the younger generation passionate about esports. That's exactly what we want to see. The thing is like the kids that come after us, right? Like kids that aren't even born yet, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They are going to be so into video games and esports, it's going to make us look like we don't even care, you know?
Exactly.
It's going to be great.
Well, we'll see what differences we're going to see from game number 1 here. So far, it started off pretty similarly. We had pool first for F91. No surprise there, of course. And his opponent, Jim, decided to go Forge first. So that was the same route. Jim also has a tendency, it appears, to drop down that pylon. Doesn't even want to mess with anything. Not going to sit there with the probe and try and block for a while. Just wants to get the pylon down right away and make sure that that natural is blocked.
Yep. Jim definitely doing what he can to hold Jigua, or not Jigua, that's the next match. He's in the next semifinal, holding F91 back. Jim, of course, coming from a long line of famous Jims, such as Jim Varney and Earthworm Jim.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, right. That's right. So many famous Jims out there.
That's impressive.
Golden Jim.
This one will be
different sort of Jim, not a person, an actual place.
Oh, a Gime.
Oh, that's right.
You see that Simpsons episode?
I have not, but
Homer scales a mountain.
It's funny.
It's pretty well done. Well, so things, and those things are that third base being placed down for F91 because he was forced into doing so.
I always worry when I see that third base taken before the natural. I mean, it just seems risky, I mean, your creep is so far away from your other creep. So they really just squeeze that logo in wherever they can.
No kidding. That's impressive, though. Is it anywhere else? I feel like this is Where's Waldo now. I hope they would troll us and put one like right over here on the side or something.
We need to have a game on like Metalopolis and see if it's on like the side of the blimps or something
Whoa!
like that. Oh, wow. Okay, there you go.
All right. Well, found that one.
Yeah, Mars TV, in case you didn't know, is a pretty big. They're this is a purely esports channel, right? Over there, or do they do more?
I think it's a full TV channel. I'm not sure. It's a internet-based TV channel, but
okay, well there you go.
But yes, their logo everywhere.
Now we know.
Now
knowing is half the battle.
You know.
That's right.
Anyway. So, Overlord sitting above does actually pick up on pretty much everything that's happening so far, just waiting for those next couple of gases to get put down. Tells you a lot about what your Protoss opponent is up to, but TyLoo.Jim looking pretty similar to what we saw in game number 1. Early +1 once again, and pretty much, I mean, if he throws on 3 more gateways, I expect him to try and hit another +1 4-gate attack to put on some pressure.
There's +1 on the way, so I mean, we're part of the way to that guess, although 4 gas going up really quick here this time around for Jim, so maybe we might see a little bit more teching this time around.
And we'll see here as F91 decides to drop down both his gas at 41 supply. He's been going for that 3-hatch no gas style pretty much this entire time, and certainly incredibly popular and with good reason.
Yep, I mean, that's kind of what you do. It's a really great way to get a good, strong economy built early on as a Zerg player in the ZVP matchup. You go up to about 40-ish drones, more like high 30s usually, toss on those 2 gas, and then get your Evo Chamber, Roach Warren, and Lair fairly quickly. From there, you can kind of, vary things up. You should also get Zergling speed, obviously, as well.
Of course.
Not one you want to leave out, but, from there, some Zerg players decide to get +1 carapace. Some decide to just go into that later game tech. A lot prefer to just attack with roaches and lings too. So Zerg has a lot of good options in the mid game against Protoss right now.
And this is 3-gate with a Twilight Council, so we'll see how Jim wants to follow this up. Are we going to have a quick blink and a big old-fashioned 6-gate blink? That's not all that bad to pull off on this map, to be honest, because you have two options, really. There's a lot of cliff line here that you can blink directly into the main and try and cut off reinforcements at a small choke point at the ramp. You can also easily get over to the third, and if a Zerg player hasn't very quickly taken down these destructible rocks, it can be very difficult to try and defend that, even with good creep spread.
You know, it really appears, too, that he's considering taking a third. I mean, he's doing the typical break the rocks down and completely wall off your front. And so many Protoss players have been just kind of taking 3 bases just because there's not a whole lot that Zerg can do to deny it. The big ramp makes it difficult to attack up that and kill the natural. The third has a fairly narrow choke that can be handled easily with force fields. So Protoss players can feel, you know, pretty comfortable taking 3 bases a lot of times on Ohana.
And looks like Dream F91 just about to finish up layer tech. There it goes. The important upgrades are on the way. Zergling speed, Roach speed as well. Adding on a 4th Queen, 4 additional injects into this macro hatch that's on the way. So everything's setting up for that very quick Roach max. Of course, he could decide to cut production and then go over to an infestation pit pretty quickly, though, if he wants.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can really do whatever you'd like. The only situation where you get a little bit stuck, when you get a little bit into trouble in Zerg versus Protoss, is if you stay too long on Roach Ling, and then you're very behind in tech. It's almost a type of all-in, really, if you think about it that way, and that you're not necessarily behind economically like a lot of people like to think of when they're talking about all-ins, but you can be all-in tech-wise as well. So sometimes Zerg players do kind of stick on roaches a little bit too long if they're not able to do damage.
And this is 6-gate Robo coming up for Jim now, as he will be able to produce a ton of sentries and immortals. Eventually, he's going to start running a little bit low on gas, and he'll start throwing in a few additional stalkers and zealots in there as well. But that being said, photon cannon up here, not the stoutest wall so far. Jim actually deciding to put up his other gateways inside of his main. We may see something like gateways number 7, 8, 9 right here to continue off this wall whenever we move a little bit later into the game, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. I mean, it is always a concern for Protoss to worry about those counterattacks, those Ling run-bys. Looks like there might be a little bit of Roach action going to that third base. F91 being his good old aggressive self, apparently. Although, really, this isn't too different from what most Zerg players would do on this map.
We all know how good a quick Roach max can be at times.
Oh,
when roaches were one supply, you know how good heavy Roach style would be then? I believe the entire map would just be coded. So
yeah, seriously.
Wait!
It's like, wait, no.
Forever wait. Oh, okay, now I'm done, actually, after that.
Okay, there we go. Okay. It was a pause. All right.
Yes.
All right. So, for once, a language aside from Korean being spoken in chat. Yeah. Usually we're used to, like, English and Korean, but...
Yep.
Not this time.
Characters or something like that.
We're branching out.
That's right. We are deciding who will become. And the reason we keep using the term Light of China is actually that is what Mars TV requested that the player be referred to as whenever they eventually come over to IPL5. So we are quite literally determining who will become the Light of China.
That's right. Apparently, I heard David Ting rather said the way that it was translated could also be took as meaning the hope of China as well.
Yeah.
So, the Light, the hope of China. And we're going to find out who it is. Could be one of these guys. Could
very well. So we're going to have to find out, though. Pretty good force fields up at the front. It actually causes the roaches to get through very, very slowly, but allows them to be destroyed pretty quickly as well. Yes, bro movement is indeed done. A few more roaches are picking up. Now, do we have an observer sitting overhead or anything along those lines? There are 2 observers out on the field, but I'm not exactly sure where they're at. The force fields have been quite good. The Immortals have actually survived for a very long period of time. They have racked up quite a few kills, and the roach numbers are continuing to decrease once again. That was a pretty good hold there from Jim. Didn't take any economic damage.
No kidding. Jim was looking a little bit shaky there for a moment, but the force fields really, really came through for him. I mean, the burrowed movement does negate that to a certain extent, but he did okay. The only problem for him is that he did lose 2 Immortals, so that does make it a little bit difficult, and I like that, attacking the mineral line with the Lings while pressuring with the roaches. Nice little bit of multitasking from F91 there.
That's right. Did he kill a significant amount of workers? Looks like he's killed 8 so far in this game. One of them was the scouting pro, but other than that, not too many. And as we can see, they're on pretty even economy at the moment. 62 drones to 61 probes. And Jim, of course, producing his workers 3 at a time as he adds on gates 7 through 10.
Yep, that's right. And right now, I mean, I feel like F91 needs to make a few more drones here. This is getting a little bit scary. I mean, you want to have the amount to keep your 3 bases very well saturated. And look at that, just canceling out those gateways over and over here.
That's right. Wow, very nice job of that, causing 3 of the 4 gateways to be canceled so far. And in fact, now if there's 4 gateways here, that's fine. But if there's just one that actually works against Jim, and indeed he did cancel that last one as well. So the Immortals not really taking any damage yet. They're finally starting to be shot down. It looks like one is going to fall. Will the second go down here in a bit as well? It has already exacted quite a bit of damage. 13 kills and continuing to increase, especially with those +3 attacks. But does finally fall in the end. It's going to have to rely on Blink Stalker control now, but quite a bit less firepower in this army with those Immortals out of it.
Yeah, the supply actually going in Jim's favor here after defending against his second push.
That's right.
This is kind of what I was mentioning. You need to be very, very careful about being overly stuck on doing these Roach Ling attacks. Now, F91 did put down some tech and expand behind all of this as well, but you can't really keep throwing units at your opponent like this. The really nice kind of saving grace from these attacks is that he's been able to get the Immortals each time he's moved up as well. And that's really, I think, what kind of prevents Jim from just doing sort of a counter push. If he still had those high-tech units and a decent amount of gateway units, he'd be pretty compelled to try to do some return damage.
And he has made base number 4 now with those infestors just about to pop up, timing those really, really nicely, so they'll pop up just as soon as Pathogen Glands finishes. Now, excuse me, Jim, on the other hand, just continuing to remake Immortals and Stalkers this entire time while he adds on those 4 gateways finally. Actually, not sure where those are coming up. There we go. Aha. So he is going to be on a total of 10 gates and Robo here in a second, but no hint of Robo-based Stargate or any sort of Templar tech quite yet.
No, just kind of staying with that strong Stalker Immortal composition. He does manage to scout the 4th base of F91. He has an observer sitting above, keeping an eye on things, and I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him move out soon to try to maybe take advantage of that. But that's a good place to expand as a Zerg player. You know, it's farthest away from where your opponent's army is probably going to be. As you can see, you know, most Protoss armies would be where Jim's is, you know, at the 3rd base defending that. It's a long walk to go all the way across the map to that 4th base, to this base as well, to that 5th that F91 has taken too.
And I expect to see Hive Tech here in just a second as we see the Spire dropping down as well. So hopefully F91 will be saving up for that momentarily. He's putting down a 5th base, but Jim, being a 3-base Protoss, can't sit there for quite a while. In fact, has a number of resources at most of his bases. His main starting to get mined out now.
That sounds like the premise for like a comedy movie or something. Meet Jim. He's a 3-base Protoss with a lot on his mind. And then they show him like fumbling with papers at the office or something like that.
He may have trouble in social situations, but he's got a big heart. So
that's right. It's a movie about how he, you know, gains magical powers and then connects with his son.
That's right.
Yeah.
Will Jim be able to overcome his strife? Find out. Well, here comes F91, though, going to make his way up. He's got a fair number of infestors there, starting to chain fungal growth. A good portion of those units, and actually has killed a couple of them, but the sheer firepower out of Jim's frontline forces with +3 attacks is pretty staggering at the moment.
Yeah, that is a scary force. It's a ton of Immortals, 5 Immortals, and all those Blink Stalkers, and oh no, they're standing right on top of the infestors get spotted by the Observer.
That's right, and most of those are going to fall.
Ugh. Well, Zerg still does have a bit of a supply advantage, but man, how do you break that with just mid-tier tech? It's so difficult. You can't break that with Roach Infestor. You just need to, well, I mean, you need to have great fungals, you need to have a great surround, and with the position that Jim is at on the map right now, it's going to be tough to do that.
And you need to not have 5 Immortals with +3 attacks just shredding through your Roaches. That's a pretty big part of that as well, as those Roaches are just dying so quickly. It's unbelievable how fast those Immortals go through them. 16 kills with the lead Immortal there. There's GG! And very nicely done by Jim. He's tied things up 1-1.
Yeah, TyLoo.Jim able